Have you ever sat by a window on a rainy day? You watch raindrops trace slow paths down the glass. The world outside is soft and quiet. In these moments, we witness the world as it truly is, simple, peaceful, and still. We are the silent witness, like the window pane watching the rain. Sometimes that is enough. Desire often begins as a quiet hum in the background of our minds, a gentle whisper that something more is needed. It's not a loud demand, but a subtle longing woven into daily life. We see it in small gestures, a hand reaching for sunlight, a wish for things to be different. This is the nature of desire. It imagines what could be, creating ripples in the calm of our minds. We often think our suffering comes from the world outside, other people, circumstances, or luck. But the true source is our own wanting, the restless gap between what is and what we desire. When we notice this, we begin to find peace within, not outside. This understanding is the first step toward letting go. Desire is born quietly, like a pebble dropped into a still pond. A single thought, "I wish this peace would last," creates the first ripple. The mind, once calm, now stirs with longing. Each comparison, each wish, is another pebble. The placid lake of our awareness slowly transforms, all from that first, almost imperceptible ripple. When we look into a mirror, we see not just a face, but a story. Our hopes, our insecurities, our longing to be more. The mirror becomes a screen for our desires, a place where we search for flaws and seek validation. But the peace we seek isn't found by perfecting our reflection. It's found by putting the mirror down and simply being who we are. Consider the person by the window on a rainy day. The glass separates two worlds, one wet and alive, the other warm and safe. A hand reaches out, longing to bridge the gap. We feel this ache when we reach for what's just beyond our grasp, on a screen through a window. Peace comes not from shattering the glass, but from finding contentment on our side. Desire often arises to fill a perceived emptiness. Picture a large, empty room. The walls are bare, the floor is clear, and the air is still. At first, there is a sense of profound peace and possibility in this space. It is uncluttered, simple, and quiet. But for many of us, this feeling does not last. The silence soon becomes uncomfortable. The emptiness starts to feel like a lack, a void that needs to be filled. The mind grows restless. It begins to imagine all the things that could furnish the room and make it feel more complete, more alive. This response to emptiness is a deep-seated habit. We are conditioned to believe that fullness is better than emptiness, that noise is better than silence, and that activity is better than stillness. When we are faced with a moment of quiet, an unscheduled hour, or a space with no distractions, a subtle panic can set in. We reach for our phones, turn on the television, or start a new task. We do anything to fill the void. This is desire in one of its most common forms, the desire to escape from the simple, unadorned presence of our own being. The empty room is a metaphor for our own inner space. When we quiet our minds through meditation or simple stillness, we may encounter this same sense of emptiness. We might feel a void where we expect to find a solid, continuous self. This can be frightening. Desire rushes in to fill this space with thoughts, with plans, with worries, with identity. It tells us stories about who we are and what we need to do. It creates an internal clutter of furniture, beliefs, opinions, and attachments, so that we do not have to face the vast, open nature of our own consciousness. The irony is that the peace we seek is already present in that very emptiness we try so hard to avoid. The room was already peaceful before we decided it needed furnishing. Our mind is already calm beneath the surface of our thoughts. Desire creates an echo in this empty room, the echo of our own dissatisfaction. It populates the space with ghosts of what could be, preventing us from appreciating the beauty of what is. Learning to sit comfortably in the empty room of our own mind, without needing to fill it, is a profound spiritual practice. It is here, in this stillness, that true contentment is found. Beneath the surface of our thoughts, desire operates like an unseen current in a deep river. We may believe we're in control, but hidden currents often guide our choices. Recognizing these unseen currents requires us to pause and ask, why am I doing this? This is the practice of self-inquiry. By bringing these currents into the light, we begin to reclaim our autonomy. Desire quietly alters how we see the world, like a single drop clouding clear water. The flower is still beautiful, the sunrise still magnificent, but our experience is tainted by wanting more. This subtle poison creates a constant sense of unrest, a thirst that can never be quenched. The first step to healing is to recognize this habit and gently let it go. Desire adds an invisible weight to our lives. Each want is like a stone in a bag we carry. At first it feels light, but as we add more, new things, approval, outcomes, the burden grows. We become so used to the weight we forget it's there. Letting go, even for a moment, brings lightness and freedom. The practice begins with awareness. Notice, release, and walk lighter. The unrest created by desire is like the constant motion of water in a disturbed pond. As we saw, a single desire is like a pebble dropped into the still water of the mind, creating ripples. But honestly, we rarely drop just one pebble. Our minds are constantly dropping pebbles, one after another. A thought of wanting this, a thought of avoiding that, a memory of a past pleasure, a fantasy of a future one. The surface of our mind is never still. It's in a state of perpetual agitation, covered in a complex pattern of intersecting ripples that obscure its true depth and clarity. This constant rippling is a state of inner restlessness. It's why we find it so difficult to sit still, to be silent, or to concentrate on one thing at a time. The mind jumps from one thought to the next, pulled here and there by the currents of desire. This mental agitation manifests as physical restlessness. We fidget, we check our phones, we seek constant stimulation and distraction. We are uncomfortable with the stillness because when things are quiet, we become more aware of the turbulent motion within our own minds. We try to drown out the noise of the ripples with even more noise from the outside world. When the surface of the water is covered in ripples, it cannot reflect the world accurately. The image of the sky and the trees becomes distorted and fragmented. In the same way, when our mind is agitated by desire, we cannot see reality clearly. Our perceptions are colored by our wants and fears. We do not see people as they are. We see them as potential sources of pleasure or pain, as allies or obstacles in our quest to get what we want. We lose our capacity for true connection and compassion because we are trapped in the distorted reflections on the surface of our own troubled minds. Finding peace is the process of allowing these ripples to subside. It is not about forcing the water to be still. You cannot flatten ripples with your hand. That only creates more disturbance. Instead, you simply stop dropping pebbles into the pond. You stop feeding the habit of wanting. You practice letting thoughts of desire arise and pass without grasping onto them. As you do this, the mind gradually begins to settle. The ripples slowly fade, and the water becomes clear and still once again, perfectly reflecting the unchanging sky above. Desire creates a very specific kind of quiet suffering, the ache of almost. It's the feeling of being perpetually on the verge of happiness, but never quite arriving. We live in a state of constant anticipation. When I finish this project, then I will be able to relax. When I go on vacation, then I will be happy. When I find the right partner, then my life will be complete. We place our happiness in a future that is always just ahead, like a destination we can see in the distance but never seem to reach. The journey there is filled with a low-grade anxiety and impatience. This feeling of almost keeps us from inhabiting our own lives. We treat the present moment as a mere stepping stone to a better future. We endure the now in the hope of the then. This is a tragic way to live because the present moment is the only place life ever truly happens. By constantly looking ahead, we miss the beauty, the learning, and the simple reality of where we are right now. The meal we are eating, the conversation we are having, the feeling of the sun on our skin, all of it is sacrificed for a future that may never come in the way we imagine. The ache of almost is fueled by a deep misunderstanding. We believe that contentment is a destination to be reached, a prize to be won after a long struggle. But contentment is not a place. It's a way of being. It is the ability to find peace and wholeness right here, in this imperfect, ordinary moment. It is the release of the belief that something needs to be added to this moment for it to be enough. The unrest comes from the gap we create between the now and the then. The ache is the tension we feel across that gap. To heal this ache, we must learn to close the gap. We do this by gently bringing our attention back from the imagined future to the felt reality of the present. We stop treating today as a dress rehearsal for tomorrow. We practice arriving in our own lives. When we do this, we make a profound discovery. The peace we were chasing in the future was already here, quietly waiting for us in the space we were so busy trying to leave. The ache of almost dissolves when we realize that we have already arrived. We are already home. Desire fills our lives with ghosts of what might have been and what we hope will be. In a simple, empty room, desire sees only what is missing. These ghosts are illusions born from wanting. When we shine awareness on them, they fade, leaving emptiness, and in that emptiness a profound peace. Each sunrise is a quiet gift, unfolding gently across the sky. It asks nothing of us, no praise, no attention, just presence. In these soft moments, the world's beauty is revealed, reminding us to pause, let go of restless desire, and simply be. The sunrise teaches us peace, to witness, to receive, and to find contentment in what already is. An empty room is not a void to fill, but an open space of possibility and peace. In its stillness we find calm. The simplicity of the room reminds us of the peace that comes from a simple, uncluttered mind. True richness is found in space, not in things. Just be present. Consider a single petal detaching from a flower. It does not struggle or cling. It simply lets go, drifting gently to the earth. In its silent fall, there is wisdom about the art of letting go. The petal's journey is one of grace and acceptance. Desire clings, but the petal yields and finds freedom. Like the petal, we can let go and move with life's changing seasons. You know, contentment is often found not in grand achievements, but in the simple, overlooked details of our daily lives. It's the warmth of a cup of tea held in your hands on a cool morning. It's the feeling of clean sheets when you get into bed at night. It's the sound of a loved one's gentle breathing as they sleep. These are small, ordinary moments. They do not promise excitement or glamour. Instead, they offer something much more valuable, a quiet sense of comfort, presence, and gratitude. Desire, with its focus on the big and the spectacular, often makes us blind to these humble treasures. When we are caught in wanting, our senses are dulled. We drink the tea while thinking about our next task. We get into bed while our mind is still replaying the day's worries, and we miss the warmth, the softness, the peaceful sounds. Our body is here, but our mind is lost in the future or the past. To find contentment, we must practice bringing our mind back home to our body, back home to our senses. We must learn to pay full attention to the simple act of drinking tea, feeling its warmth spread through our fingers and into our body. This practice of mindfulness transforms ordinary moments into sources of deep peace. It's a way of appreciating what we already have, instead of constantly seeking what we lack. The feeling of contentment that arises from these simple pleasures is very different from the fleeting satisfaction of getting what we want. The satisfaction of desire is exciting and intense, but it quickly fades, leaving us wanting more. The contentment found in simple things is gentle, steady, and nourishing. It's a quiet warmth that can sustain us through all of life's challenges. Embracing simplicity means finding our richness in these moments. It's realizing that a quiet walk in nature can bring more joy than an expensive vacation. It's discovering that a heartfelt conversation with a friend is more valuable than gaining the approval of strangers. This is a radical shift in perspective. It moves us away from the endless pursuit of more and toward the gentle appreciation of enough. When we learn to find joy in the warmth of simple things, we find that we are already living in a world of abundance. The unrest of desire begins to dissolve in the quiet gratitude for what is. The peace of enough is not resignation. It's a joyful realization that right now we are okay. It's the end of the endless chase, a quiet space where the mind can rest. Enough is seeing your ordinary life and feeling a deep sense of sufficiency. Desire always points to the next thing, but enough is found by looking at what's already here. We can pause and notice air to breathe, a body that works, a mind that's aware. Appreciating these simple truths trains us to see sufficiency, not lack. This is the heart of true simplicity, living with a light heart, free from constant striving. When we let go of needing more, we act with greater freedom and compassion. In letting go of the urge to get, we discover the joy of giving. This is the quiet, powerful beauty of enough. Letting go doesn't start with struggle, it starts with noticing. We don't need to change our desires or judge ourselves for having them. We simply become aware, watching our thoughts with gentle curiosity. When a thought of wanting arises, we notice it. Ah, there's wanting. We don't have to obey or believe every urge. Throughout the day, we notice the subtle pulls, checking our phone, feeling envy, impatience. We acknowledge them. There is envy. There is impatience. This awareness weakens their hold. In the space between desire and reaction, we find freedom. We are no longer compelled to act on every urge. This gentle noticing is the beginning of peace. After noticing desire, we find an anchor, our breath. The breath is always present, always now. By focusing on the breath, we find stillness untouched by desire. When desire arises, gently bring attention to breathing. Feel the air in, the pause, the air out, the stillness between breaths. In that pause, there is no wanting, just being. Resting in this quiet moment, we taste freedom from desire. The urge may remain, but it loses urgency. The breath is a portable sanctuary, always available. In this simple act, we hold our feelings with kindness. Here we discover the stillness always present in our lives. Acceptance is not resignation. It's letting go of our war with reality. It means saying yes to the present moment just as it is. Like holding a bird gently, we hold our experiences with an open hand. We allow joy, sadness, desire, and fear to be without clinging or pushing away. When desire arises, we notice, feel, and let it be. We don't have to act or suppress. We simply allow. This is the act of letting go and undoing, a release of resistance. When we stop fighting, desire loses its power and passes naturally. Acceptance is the key to inner peace. With it, we respond to life with wisdom and compassion. In radical acceptance, we find the freedom we've been seeking. Our journey began with a quiet moment, disturbed by wanting. We've seen how desire creates unrest and how gentle understanding brings lightness. The path isn't striving to be free from desire, but softening and letting be. We notice wanting without being pulled by it, return to our breath, and learn from the grace of letting go. The heavy bag of wants grows lighter as we stop adding new stones and gently set old ones down. With each release, there's more space and ease. An unburdened heart is open and spacious, able to love and feel without clinging. It can experience happiness without fear and sorrow without breaking. This is the peace of the present moment, the gentle beauty of enough. We've journeyed from desire to stillness, learning that suffering's source is within. If the cause is within, so is the key to peace. We don't need the world to change, just clarity and kindness toward ourselves. This isn't a belief, but an invitation to look at your own experience. Notice how wanting creates tension, and how contentment comes when you're simply present. The path is gentle attention, practiced over a lifetime. When desire pulls us under, we remember our breath, acceptance, and self-kindness. The tools of noticing, breathing, and accepting are yours now, weightless yet powerful. In this simple presence, peace is here. Freedom begins when we let go.